My name is Sandra Villarreal, and this is my project for my artist presentation for my art appreciation class. The artist I chose is named Joshua Mills, and he's a contemporary portrait artist. When my teacher asked us to find a new artist, I was like lost. I was like, who do I pick? It couldn't be nobody that was old, nothing like that. So I went online and I was looking through new contemporary artists, through Google search. And I came across all these images and nothing caught my attention. I really wanted to pick something that I really would like. And then I came across these two pictures and I was blown away. What really caught my attention were the eyes. And I don't know, the way they looked, the way, I don't know, it was just so beautiful to me. And then the way the colors were put together, the textures. I mean, I don't know, it touched me or something. So I was like, this is the one. It has to be the one. So I looked up the person, who made these artworks. And when I did so, I ended up finding out it was an Australian artist. So this Australian artist is named Joshua Mills, and he is actually born in Adelaide, South Australia. He was born September 2nd, 1982. He does have a bachelor's of visual communication. Um, I know that he was doing, you know, some work in graphic design at first, because I know he had mentioned that he loved doing art and art class and all that when he was in high school, but he didn't do that for his future. He was thinking, I better go into school to, to learn about something that's basically similar but not quite, as an artist, because he didn't think he could make money off of that, to make a living to support a family. So he ended up becoming a graphic designer, and specializing in packaging for like consumer goods such as soft drinks, alcohol, snacks, gourmet foods, all of that. And later on is when a few years after that he decided to paint again. So his preferred method of painting is using oil paints, palette knives, digital art. And so then, as I kept on looking for more information on Joshua Mills, I came across a website that he has, and it's also like a store. So I was like, oh my gosh, there's like so many. So when I started looking through, yeah, I saw these pictures, as I was going through his website to get information about him. And I noticed that it says 2016. So I'm assuming, these are some of the pictures that paintings that he did during 2016, which is the picture that I liked. Is right, it's featured there. And then I saw that for 2017, he had these plus many more. And then for 2018, he had these and, more. And as you can see, there's a famous person in the second picture. And I believe that's Nelson Mandela. I believe that's his name. Well, anyways, so yeah, back to him being a graphic designer, because on the website it does mention, on the top, right here next to 2016 says design. So he shows many pictures of different things, and that's where I found out, like, well, because that's what he used to do for a living, working for these companies and trying to advertise for them, like with his skills that he learned from school. So soon after that, I went to the next section because I was wondering how much does he sell his paintings for, or like how much is something like that. Well, um, I saw that he had these, and when you touch the faces with your cursor, it would say 165, 165. So when I clicked on it, I ended up finding out that they're actually prints. These would be prints. He does do paintings, but I'm sure those are very highly priced, and I soon did find that out. But I mean, I understand it's totally worth it. But back to these. yeah, I saw that these are 165. They are limited edition prints of 50. And like I wrote on here, it's on made out of that type of ink on German etching paper. Um, and he does hand sign them and number them, you know. So that's something nice to have. Um, Back to the paintings. I did see that one of his pictures or paintings that he had um was 1,000 mm by 1,000 mm, and I looked that up, and that's about 3 feet by 3 feet type of canvas. And I saw that the price for that was, you know, 4,250. So I was like, oh, I wonder how much that is, because that's the price for Australian if you pay in Australian money. So I looked it up on the internet, and then I saw that it was 2,000, almost $3,000. That's what it was for American money plus shipping. Um, I mean, I think it's worth it, and I'm sure you know tons of paint was used, and then the canvas is pretty big, and I don't know. I just thought it was a beautiful piece. And I'm sure the prices vary, and I know that he has different sizes for sale. He does have a store there on his website. Um, so back to like his digital artwork and stuff. So I saw that trying to he started painting again, but he wasn't sure how he was gonna do this because he first would work with like either uh, markers and you know watercolors and all that, but he wanted to do something different. So he would start to play around with his the software, the same software that he would use to advertise for the companies. He started playing around with that software, and then he started to develop like a serious interest in like combining them together with traditional painting, and that's basically how this came about. He said that he first started looking up pictures online, like images of, I guess, perhaps famous people. And when he came across this picture, for example, he uh, he did his magic on digital artwork. I don't really know how you get to that outline part, but that's where he goes. That's where he goes to begin his artwork. So I saw that somebody had asked him, because he also has social media. I saw that someone had asked him, so do you like print it out on paper and then you go ahead and just start freehand drawing those shapes? Or what is it? How is it that you do it? He said, and he said, I'm actually I'm not gonna like shy away from answering that question. I will tell you the truth. I use a projector. So that's what he said, that he uses a projector to sketch out, the little lines from that digital copy. So then I noticed that he keeps his artwork near like his monitor. So as you can see on the left hand side, he has it like with the regular shading, a regular picture with the regular shading from, lighting and darkness. And on the right hand side, you can see where it has the shading as well, but on top of it, you can see the lines from the graphic picture that he had. Um, and I guess that's how he starts to think, okay, this is a little lighter in this area, so on and so forth. Another thing that I noticed was that majority of his paintings start with the eyes. Um, that's the eyes or the forehead and the eyes. Um, that's like when he really starts getting into that style of painting that he does. But obviously, I've also noticed before he begins anything, on most of them, he first paints the canvas part, which is the background, and then he goes from there. Um, Here he shows where he begins from step one all the way to step five, where he painted the background of the painting and left the inside part white, with the lines showing um, the little spaces that are going to be filled with paint. And then he starts like from the top to the bottom. Um, and then it goes, you can see as he starts going from the forehead to his nose, to down his chin and his neck, and then ultimately till he gets to the very end. So these are the tools that he likes to use. He really likes to use painting knives, acrylic oil. I'm not acrylic. I'm sorry. Uh, Oil painting, paint. I know I read that he buys in bulk because they asked him how long. They asked him many questions. They asked him like, so how much paint do you use on a painting? And he says, I really don't like start measuring, nothing like that. He goes, I don't even dare to measure. That's just too much time. He goes, I do buy everything in bulk. But I will say like I use a lot of paint. And they asked him, well, how long does it take for a painting like that to dry? And he said it takes actually a few months to completely dry. I was like, wow, a few months. Because that was something that really, made me want to ask, like, wow, like that painting is kind of thick. So how long does it take to dry? I'll show you in a second how thick it gets. Um, but yeah, these are the tools he likes to use. And they're the ones that are from his own little painting shop. So as you can see, it starts getting pretty thick. And you can see as he's layering the colors of different paints. You see on the left hand side, it looks, if I were to be there and I'm not up close to it, I don't think I could know exactly what I'm looking at. I think you have to kind of walk back, but I think he has that trained eye, of course, where he does know what's happening, you know, but it's so pretty. I don't know. I really, really, really enjoy it. I did find out that this type of style is called impasto, and what it is impasto is a technique used in painting. I did look this up. It said it's a technique used in painting where paint is laid on an area of the surface in very thick layers. And usually, um, it's either used with brush or painting it with knives. I could stroke it. And when it's dry, the impasto provides texture. The paint appears to be coming out of the canvas, which obviously you can see that. You can see like it almost looks like clay. Like when you see people sculpting with clay, that's what it reminds me of, but in a painting. So I think that's probably why I also liked it. On the bottom left hand corner, he does see that there's days where he's just not having a good day and he don't think it's coming out right. So he'll scrape it off and start all over again to try to get it right. So yeah, all that hard work and then just to scrape it. I did include a small video. It's like about 3 minutes long. I'll go ahead and show you it, and then I'm going to tell you another reason why I did choose his painting or why it called me. But I'll talk about that in a second. So let's go ahead and show you that video.
It's not the easiest thing to do because you aren't looking to capture an emotion, because you never really see a person's face without an emotion on there. Like, it's almost surreal, and everyone has a different face, and you just show off the person more by removing the emotion. The raw person comes out, just, no, the happiness, the depression, none of that's sort of relevant in those paintings. It's sort of just that person. Sometimes I feel really, really relaxed, and sometimes I feel extremely stressed. And one of the reasons why I paint the way that I do is I feel like all of those sort of emotions that are coming through me take its shape onto the canvas. You'll see areas where I've stripped it back because of having a bad paint day. And it's not something that I want to hide. I want to make sure that people can see the struggle that I'm having myself with painting the piece. My name is Joshua Miles, and I'm a visual artist working predominantly in portraiture using palette knives. I think that my style is almost abstract portraiture. I try and break my subjects down into shapes, and then I build the detail in and strip it back. So basically my works focus on mental health in males, and that was sort of born out of just growing up with a family member that struggled with mental health. So I wanted to try and find a way to represent that in my paintings. And I felt the best way to show the struggle that men have was actually to try and strip away all emotions in my paintings. So I made sure that the faces almost felt like they were looking past you. And once I did that, the paintings started to speak to me on the struggles that they may have. And I'm not looking to try and particularly tell someone what they should feel about my works, but I want people to sort of look, reflect, and maybe think about someone that might be struggling, or just see that there are people out there that are struggling that sort of hide those emotions from, particularly their loved ones. I like to feel the struggle when I paint. I like to push and pull the paint. I'm not looking to create a perfect looking image. I guess that sort of comes back to not looking for the perfection in my work. You know, my works is sort of a reflection of life. You know, there's going to be good days, there's going to be bad days, and sometimes I'll specifically damage a piece to give it some life, and then I'll come back and try and recreate an element that I've destroyed. When I started, I was never ever going to be a great artist if I never ever tried to do something different. And it's only when you realise that you almost need to fail, you need to take a risk, and even if a painting's looking fantastic, take that risk and push it that one step too far. Realise that that's what's happened, and then you know for the next time how far you can go with a piece. And if you don't sort of find out what that breaking point is for a painting, then you'll never know how good it might be.
So, yeah, that was his video. And when I heard him talk about that, it really touched me. It really touched me because I'm going to take you back to that painting. Um, I get a little bit sad because I think about my son. At the age of 13, my son was diagnosed with major depressive disorder, with anxiety and aggression. Thankfully, now my son is going to be 16, and he is getting better, a lot better. I see a huge improvement, and I don't see him. His depression for me is already gone. His doctors agree, but we're still dealing with all that. And uh, when I saw these pictures, that they did call out to me, and when I heard that his method is sorry, I'm trying to keep my composure. When I saw that his message was that he chooses to paint males. I mean, he's painted some women as well. I saw that, I guess in his later work, but his he likes to paint males because he likes to paint males who suffer from mental health issues, because he says that he feels that many men, well, men are brought up to think that they have to act a certain way, they have to be protectors. They cannot cry, they cannot show their feelings, they cannot do all these things. And so the world sees one side of a person, specifically in a male, and the true person hides. And it's sad. It shouldn't be that way. And he says that his inspiration for his paintings, of course, besides other art, many artists that he likes, he said his inspiration truly comes from remembering his father. That because in his life, his father suffered from mental health issues, and his father was diagnosed with depression, with anxiety, and he suffered from alcoholism. And eventually, his father had gone to a rehab to go get help. And when he went to go get help, he um he ended up taking also a class at this Australian institution. For it was a course on mental health. And once his father finished it, his father became sober. He just became sober, wanted to go teach, talk to students that would take that course, but he didn't get to go do that after all because his father ended up losing his life to a heart attack. But on a good note, he did. Although that was sad that he passed away, he did find out that his son had just gotten the news that was chosen as a finalist to he was chosen as a finalist to to be a part of it's called the Black Swan Prize for painting him. He was chosen as one of the finalists, and with the Black Swan prizes in Australia, it's one of the richest portraits prizes that you could like win. I think I saw like the prize could be like $50,000 or something like that. Well, they chose him as one of the finalists, so that was exciting for his father and well for himself too, right? So yeah, this is why I really enjoyed his paintings. I liked his story. I liked everything about it. I'm really glad that I've taken this class. I've learned a lot, and I hope that you guys like my video. And for those of you who want to see more of his artwork, he does have social media. He has an Instagram. You can follow him, or he also has a Facebook page. You can follow him there. And I hope you all enjoyed my video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.